So this is something that I got an idea for. Kind of came to me actually today out of nowhere, out of the blue. First things first, I don't know how legal this is. I am driving. My eyes are on the road. I'm not, I probably won't acknowledge chat or anything. I might if I'm stopped and it's safe. But I thought this would be an experiment to see if I can hold a conversation by myself for a full hour on my car ride home. I have a lot of spare time with these car rides every day. I work about 40 minutes away from work. So 40 minutes there every morning, 40 minutes back. Normally on my commutes, I'm on the phone with my fiance or I'm listening to podcasts. I thought I would try to do something a bit more productive. Not necessarily productive, but it's interesting. This is an experiment. This might only be a one-off. Might go nowhere. Might get pulled over and get arrested. Not quite sure of the laws. I tried looking it up earlier. Couldn't really find too much on it. You shouldn't be on your phone when you're in a car, but technically not on my phone. I'm perfectly aware of my surroundings. At least I think I am. So, we'll find out what happens. I don't know. I probably shouldn't look at the camera too much. So, you're going to see me looking straight ahead, talking about what's going on in the day-to-day life of, Steve here. I'll tell you a little bit about myself if you don't know. I started streaming on Twitch probably about a month ago, somewhat regularly. I work full-time, so it's a little hard to squeeze it in. But I try to stream 2 to 3 days a week on average, so, pretty much no viewers. There's a couple viewers, a couple of family members and friends, and it's awesome having them around. So right now, just kind of doing it for fun, doing it for a hobby, but it's kind of cool to record the progress as you go along. Things like these, could end up going nowhere, could end up being a part-time hobby, so that's kind of what I'm looking at. Like streaming different kind of games. I'll be making YouTube videos. Hopefully I can do some cool things on games like PUBG and stuff like that. Get some crazy kill streaks and make a nice compilation video of that. Post it, but I'll be doing a lot of playthroughs of games. I got some upcoming games I want to play. I figure I'm going to play them anyways. Why not stream them? Some people might actually enjoy watching me stream. I don't know. Whatever. But, yeah, that's what it is. So, this is what I'm doing. And this idea came to me today. I was like, you know what? Sometimes ideas come to you and you just, oh, that's a cool idea. Forget about it. Then you don't think about it again. It's gone. I took the initiative. I was like, you know what? This idea, I'm sure other people have done a podcast from a car before. It's not like it's that revolutionary. Unless it's illegal, then I don't know. Maybe people don't. But, yeah, I came up with the idea. I was like, fuck it, I'm going to actually try it. I'm going to actually do it. And I'm going to see if it sounds good. One of my favorite parts about doing this is I have a lot of free time at work. So what I do is I listen back to my streams. Oh, this would be great if all the audio is not recording the whole time. And I'm just talking into a camera with no audio. That would be lovely. But let's hope the audio is working. I didn't really even do a test stream of this. I kind of just downloaded this app, bam, linked it up with Twitch, and then you're good to go. It's actually really easy, so. But this could be, if it turns into something, I could do this every day. I drive 40 minutes there, 40 minutes back. Let's do it. Let's talk about what's going on. Let's talk about games. Let's talk about movies. Let's talk about life. I think it's pretty cool. So far I'm liking it. I'm digging it. I'm digging the vibes. But yeah, where I was getting to before is, every day I have my job I'll get into my job later, but, I have free time pretty much. Or my job is, you don't have to focus too much on the work. Your brain can kind of go off in different directions. So I usually listen to podcasts, and we'll get into those too in a second. The podcasts I like to listen to and I would recommend. But I like to listen back to my recordings of Twitch and that, and I can, make highlight reels. I'll kind of just listen to the audio, and if something cool comes up or I say something funny, then, I write down the time marker for that, and then later on I'll, come back at home and I'll try to edit it. At least that's the thought process behind it. But this will give me definitely some good audio content to at least listen to myself. And if anything, if no one ever hears this, which is a high possibility, this is good practice for communication skills. This is what people don't realize. You want to improve your communication skills. You want to get better at talking to people. You wouldn't think a good way of doing that would be, talking to yourself over the internet, broadcasting to no one. You would think that would be not a good way to learn how to communicate. But I've noticed in the last month since I started streaming, I think conversations in public, conversations with people have become a lot more easy to me. I've always been an awkward person. Super awkward. Yeah. Super awkward. But, it helps. You realize you're more conscious about the words you're saying. You think about things more. So I think it's good. That's what I'm doing. I'm going back, I'm listening to my audio. I'm thinking about how I sound. I'm thinking about, okay, how can I sound, not necessarily just better, but I want to be able to convey my thoughts easier. So when I'm going back and I'm listening to myself speak, I can remember what I was trying to say at the time, and I can, listen to the audio of what I actually sounded like, which who knows the quality of this audio right now. I have no idea. But when you connect the dots between the listening and the memory of what you were trying to convey, I think you can, you can try to improve upon the actual audio output, and you can hopefully convey your thoughts better, which that's not a bad skill to have, regardless of what you're doing. So, we're going to let these cars pass us real quick, pretend like we're not live streaming. I'm just talking on a phone call right now, it's fine. There's a little video involved, which is fun. It's a beautiful day out, by the way, guys. I don't know if I'm from New York. We've had a long, cold winter, and it's finally, it's here. Spring is here, summer's here, it all came at once. We skipped right over spring, I think, which is fine by me, although I do love spring. But it's here. So, getting back to this sort of inspiration behind this, I do listen to some podcasts. I'll mention a few now. The big one I'll mention that everyone's familiar with, Joe Rogan. We all know Joe. Most of us do. He puts on good shows, He's got good guests. I highly recommend if you haven't listened to him. He's got something to offer for everyone, I think. Anything from scientists, doctors. He's going to have a lot of fighters on there. He does the whole martial arts thing, which I'm pretty sure he practices that stuff as well, so he's a good guy to talk to those guys. But yeah, if you're a little bit of variety, so celebrities, definitely check him out. He's very introspective. He speaks his mind. He's very open-minded, too. I've noticed that a lot, too. He talks about drugs and that, and, not even just that, just other things as well. He's very like, okay, let's sit down. What's the problem? Okay, let's look at both sides. Let's talk about both sides for a little bit. And then we'll kind of get into, our real thoughts behind it. And I think that's a better way to dissect things. Don't just start off on your end, start off defending your end. Maybe start off defending the opposing side that that you're against. Let's defend that first and see if there's any kind of merit there. I don't know. I'm going off on a tangent. But yeah, that's one of them. That's Joe Rogan. Check that guy out. A couple other podcasts. Well, there's a good show on Sirius XM that I've been listening to probably since I was 16. Little show you might have heard of called Opie and Anthony. So that's a great show. Was a great show. Probably still is if you go back and listen to it, but one thing I noticed about that show a little bit more than Joe Rogan, so that's more of like a daily radio show. It's a lot more topical. So you get a couple weeks behind in those shows. They're talking a lot more about the day-to-day stuff. So it's a comedy show. Right now you can listen to the newest iteration, Jim Norton and Sam Roberts. I think it's called Jim Norton with Sam Roberts. You can find it several places. But you can definitely catch it out on Sirius XM. Oh no, I think I got a cop. I think I'm getting pulled over, guys. This is not good. I'm getting paranoid though. I'm gonna have to shut the stream off. There's a white car behind me and I can't tell what it is. Can't tell if it's a wheelchair delivery service. Maybe it's a ice cream truck. Could be a FedEx, or it could be some kind of weird cop car that I've never seen, but it's probably that. Anyways, so yeah, so far it's going pretty good. I mean, I haven't stopped talking yet, and I don't plan on doing it. We got about another 25 minutes till we get home. I think I can manage. I just got to think of some more topics. I literally winged this. I had a list. I thought of this idea. It's 4:57 p.m. The date today is the 23rd. I should know because quick mention is my 7-year anniversary with my fiance. So, what are the chances of that? First day I do this little one-off podcast is a pretty big day in my life. But so it's 4:57 p.m. Let's just call it 5 p.m. I literally thought of this idea. It came into my brain at 3 p.m. And I wrote it down. I was like, okay, just a little, I write notes down all day on my notepad and that. I got to do that for work anyways, but I have like a personal side section of my notepad that I write stuff to. I was like, all right, car ride podcast. That's all I wrote down. And then about 10-15 minutes later, I was like, shit, if I'm going to do this, probably should come up with some topics. So then I wrote down, hey, come up with topics for the podcast. And I never filled anything else out after that. I had a couple ideas in my head of what I want to talk about. I mean, I could definitely do this first whole episode of just introductory of myself. That would be easy. So let me get a sip of water here because I've been talking for a couple minutes. But yeah, we're just going off the cuff right now, which is a pretty good way to do it. I do have some things though that I think I can get to. Oh man, this weather is just. I'm going to the beach tonight. I'm walking the beach. I'm going to be chilling, my feet in the sand. I'm going to get some chicken wings first though. I got a special diet. I can only eat certain things. Can't eat bread, stuff like that. We can get into that too someday. I'm a big fan of this diet. I highly recommend it. Won't really get into it, but it's low carb. Feels good. I feel great. I feel better than I've ever felt. I've lost like 30 pounds in like the last, I don't know, 3 months. Let's say 3 months. That sounds good. 10 pounds a month. I'm starting to plateau on the diet, to be honest, but I'm lazy and I don't work out, so that's bound to happen. I gotta start. I haven't counted calories this whole time I've been on the diet, so that just goes to show. I only count carbs. We'll get into the diet a little bit, just for like a minute, because it gives me something to go off of. So you don't count calories on this, which you've already taught your whole life, calories, which is true. But once your body switches over to low carb, you just count your carbs. You make sure you're not eating shit that's got a lot of carbs in it. Quick example, slice of bread. One slice of bread. They're anywhere from 10 to 20 carbs or more in a slice of bread. I'm allowed to have like 20 carbs or less a day. So, bread's out the window. I could have no carbs in the rest of the food I eat all day and then have one slice of bread, but you're not going to do that. So on this diet, you avoid bread, you avoid sugars. You can't have any of that stuff. But there's a lot of good food you can't have. I recommend it. Get off the diet subject because I know it's touchy with some people. But if there's anyone out there that's listening that wants to try something, try low carb. I tried 3 or 4 different diets in my time. None of them worked, mostly because of my willpower is very weak man. But also because, I don't know, the food sometimes is not the best. I enjoy the food on this diet. Low carb diet, high fat. Eat some bacon and stuff like that, even though it's not the best for you. But so yeah, pretty soon I plan on, not necessarily hitting the gym, but hitting something. I got to do something because I'm starting to plateau. I got to lose this weight. Got a big wedding coming up in October, so that's not the only reason. That's a good push. Like that's a good thing to get you going. So okay, I got this date that I got to get into a certain shape for. That's great, but that's not what it's all about. It's about being healthier, want to live longer. You start to get older in your life. I'm 28 years old. You start to see, certain members of your family get unhealthy. See stuff like that. Close people, things happen to them. It's unfortunate, and you just got to tell yourself, you you gotta start doing something. You gotta be healthy. You want to live long, but you don't want to live a long shitty life either. You want to live a long healthy life. And you don't have to be super healthy, but I mean, you should at least be somewhat conscious of what's going on in your body, that kind of stuff. So I think it's important. I think it's good and positive. But if you're young, I'd say fuck it. I would say if you're 20 years old, 19 years old, do what you want. 25, you want to start thinking about it, but a young body can handle a lot. You can do what you want. You start getting my age, though, you want to start, you get more value out of it. You feel better, too. You feel more energetic, I'm 30 pounds lighter, so God knows what that's doing for, my joints and all that kind of shit. But straying away from that now, we got to think of a new topic. So we are approaching the 20-minute mark, I believe, until I get home. So I'm getting there. We're getting there. But this is podcast number 1, if anyone's just checking it out. This is called, I actually came up with a name, which I kind of like it. It's, what was it? It's the Daily Commute Podcast. So I actually have a 40-minute commute to work, 40-minute commute back. So I could do it both probably if I wanted. I'd probably only do it once though. I think 40 minutes is a decent chunk of a podcast. It's enough for, I like to listen to podcasts when I work out, which I don't do, but when I do, I like to throw a podcast on. If I need to clean my house or something like that, do dishes, do some laundry, throw a podcast on. The time flies by. Your audio, you're getting something in your audio while you're doing work. I mean, you can always be listening to something as long as it's not a safety precaution. Like right now, I'm driving this car going 64. Actually, I could just lie and say it's a green screen behind me. I'm not even driving a car. I'm doing this from home, people. The lighting's pretty good too. So yeah, I'm doing this from home. Got a green screen set up. Yeah, that's what I'm doing actually. That's a good idea. The Green Screen Car Ride Home. That's the name of the podcast. We're changing it. But yeah, this is the Daily Commute. So I mean, thanks for stopping by. If you like it, and if you do like, me as a person, you want to see more stuff I do. Besides this, the main other thing that you're going to see me online doing is gaming. So I guess we can branch off into that because that's probably a majority of what, not necessarily this is going to be about, but my online entity, that's probably a majority of what it's going to be about. A majority. So yeah, Steve_XM. That's STEVE _XM. The XM is just like, it was stuck in my head. It was just kind of random. I was just like, okay, I want to be Steve online. I don't want to be called, Jumbly Banana 13. I wanted something like, if I'm interacting with people online, be like, yo, Jumbly, what's up, man? I wanted to be able to like actually hear what the people are saying. Like, hey, Steve, what's going on? I normally don't even really like to be called Steve. I kind of prefer Steven, but we're going with Steve. But anyways, yeah, the reason I did that is because, Steve, people can be like, hey, Steve, what's up? And it just sounds more natural, like they're actually talking to me like I'm a human, because I am a human. But yeah, it's Steve_XM. I got a YouTube channel that's got one video on it right now. It's a Skyrim VR video. It's like a highlight reel. It's not very good, but we're working on it. Steve_XM on Twitch. And I'm on a lot of other social medias. Pretty soon they'll all be linked in the description of everything that I have. Right now, I think they're just in Twitch. So there's like a Facebook page, Discord server, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat. What else you guys want to see? But yeah, so that stuff will be coming more, and there'll be a lot more, insight. But so far, I think this is a good thing to do this. Oh man, this makes the ride go by quick too. I don't really dread this car ride, but I just don't know if I can keep talking like this more than once a week. Because it's like, I could do this 5 days a week. That'd be crazy. I could do it 5 days a week, twice a day. And I could combine it together. You could have the background would change. My green screen would turn to like dark for like the morning. And then I would change the green screen to like rain and that and snow, like, with the real weather of the area. So it would be believable. It'd be like I was actually in a car driving down the road, and you would see like real, all these license plates and all this stuff on the car. It's all real. I wonder if I have to notify these people that they're on camera. well, I'm sure I'll be getting some emails from some angry people soon. But this might only be a one-off too. That's what's great about it. I wouldn't even mind that. This is a one-off, guys. This is the one and only green screened car ride home podcast. So enjoy it while it lasts, because this could be it. But yeah, we'll see. So getting back into the gaming side of things, I grew up a gamer. A lot of us have. Not a big shocker. I think I was a little bit ahead of the curve though. I remember being in, elementary school, high school. There was kids that played games, but it seemed like it wasn't like nowadays where it's like, oh, you got Xbox? I mean, you don't even ask someone that. It's just like, you're going to ask someone that, and then the chances are they're going to say yes, or I got something else, Nintendo, PlayStation. But I think nowadays it's actually more common for the person to not say that they have, some kind of home console, or they play on a computer or something like that. It's pretty common. So, but yeah, back then it wasn't, and I grew up on Super Nintendo, all that good stuff. I had all the systems pretty much for the most part. A couple of years after they came out, and just recently I've dipped my toes into the the PC gaming world, which no offense to the console people, but there's just so many more options. There's so much more stuff you can do. And don't get me wrong, I've been getting back into my PS4 Pro, and it's just, there's games on there that still, but all those games could be made for PC. That's my point. But for $300, $400, these home consoles nowadays are great. So you're gonna be seeing me doing some streams on there. I want to do that new God of War. The new God of War. I think it's just called God of War 2018 in parentheses or whatever. So that's an up-and-coming game that I want to play, just because it's not too long. I can do a playthrough of it. I think it'll be pretty emotional. It's a game that's probably full of, plenty of combat. I've been playing games recently, streaming games, where sometimes it's just a lot of dialogue for a while, like a game like Skyrim, which I like because I get to interact with the NPCs. I get to go, hey, what's going on, guy? Oh, I got this quest for you. It's like, okay, buddy, I'll do your quest, but you got to do something for me in return. So you can kind of have like a little, back and forth with them. But obviously that game was made 15 years ago, and the voice acting and the facial animations of the characters are kind of asinine. But, where was I going? I fucking lost my train of thought, and I had something good coming up. So we'll just keep talking for now. I'll take a sip of water. Maybe that'll come back. Man, what was I talking about? Oh, yes. So how that game would be better to stream because it's action-packed. And I'm sure there's cool little puzzle areas where you can take a break and, But, yeah, certain games, like, games I love to play even, like PUBG. It's a great game. I do kind of like streaming it, but there is just that long period of time where you're just looting, or, it takes a while to get the game going. Once you get into that top 5 minutes of the game, it's amazing. It's like everything you've done throughout the whole beginning of the game, you've harvested all these materials, now you can put yourself to the test. Did you search well enough to find the equipment you need to live? You got enough health? You got enough this? You got enough that? And it's all about positioning. So it's like, how did you carry yourself across the map? Are you in a shitty spot now? So, I mean, yes, there is a story to tell with each game, but coming from someone like me, I don't have too much time to stream. So it's tough to get those 45-minute long games. So that's one game of PUBG. I don't know the actual length. It's got to be at least 30, 40 minutes. Although I will say they had this new game mode I got to play for like an hour. Came out last week. It was like a limited time event where the circle on the map is actually where you get dropped into, and it's like Call of Duty where you get to respawn. Oh, I got another cop behind me. Why does it say chat closed? I don't know. I must have pissed someone off and they closed my chat. Hold on a second. We got to make some moves here. We're maneuvering around a little bit. Traffic is getting a little, my green screen's going crazy. I got my force feedback steering wheel. But it's going good. So, it's not too bad. You just kind of keep moving. And, these shades look good on camera too, I gotta say, so I'll probably keep those going. My eyes are kind of a little fucked up looking, and they're a little crooked. So I like these. I feel comfortable with these on. But also it's sunny out too, so you gotta protect your eyes from that sun. oh, I would be so happy. Oh, if this thing did not record the whole time, and I was just throwing out all these gems left and right, and I get home and this is just nothing. I talk to myself for an hour for nothing. But no, yeah, you guys will see this. I'm going to be sharing this with my close and fellow community that I know, and I think it'll be somewhat entertaining. If not, it'll be something to laugh at least, so I don't mind people laughing at me. The way I see it is if I can entertain someone for a couple minutes, whether it's laughing at me, laughing with me, that's fine, because every once in a while you get a really good laugh, and nothing feels better in the world. I don't care what you say. Whatever kind of drugs you do, other things in life that you can do, we won't get into. But a good laugh, like a hard, like gut laugh where you almost can't stop, that's a good feeling. So I'm not going to say that I'm, going to produce that kind of level of laughing, but even a little laughs are good too. So, but yeah, gaming side, I mean, there's just so much there. There's just so much to do. So many things to do. Pretty soon I'll be moving though, so getting a house. That's going to be exciting. This house is kind of rough. It needs some work. I'm not going to lie. It needs some work. We couldn't afford, the nicest house in the world. Although I do get a pool. That'll be nice. I'm going to invite you guys over. Come swimming. We're going to have a pool. Got a little backyard fenced in so we can grill out. We can do stuff back there. Play some games outside and that. But yeah, it's a nice little house. We're going to fix it up. And I'm going to have my own dedicated room for gaming. Which, if I keep up with the streaming thing, it's also going to be a streaming room. So there's that. But, this is how we do it. I got people like looking over at my car now. I think they see what I'm doing. They're like, this guy's a fucking whack job. And I think what he's doing is illegal. So I'm going to call the cops on him and report him. So I'm just going to kind of be nonchalant for a minute and just pretend like I'm talking on a phone, on a voice call. You hear what I'm saying? We're going back and forth. So I'm going to let you respond for a second because I got to pretend like, okay. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to take a sip. So you guys respond back. Oh, this guy. Who is this guy? Why are you talking to? No one's even watching you. You don't get the whole... You got to go back and watch the beginning of this, man. Guess what? When you start on Twitch, you know what happens? You stream, and guess what happens? No one watches you. At least that's my response with it. So, yeah. You got to get used to that. I think if you can get used to that, then maybe you can go somewhere, because I just do this for fun now. I'm not ever trying to be like, people go on Twitch, which is fine. They want to be the next big, we're talking about Ninja, which, speaking of this, I picked an amazing time because another podcast I should mention that I do listen to, which Tony Swift, you probably should leave this room right now and go watch this other podcast because it's fucking really good. It's called H3H3 Podcast. I don't know if they're on IRL, but it's probably in the top podcast right now, this directory. It's an amazing podcast. And guess who they have on today? Like, I picked the worst day ever to be in this directory. They have Ninja on today, the Fortnite streamer, which obviously he's I'll just say the biggest Twitch streamer. I don't know if he is, but that podcast is also amazing, and people do watch it. They get a lot of people in there, so go there now, because I don't know, I would watch that. I want to hear what he's going to say. I'm going to watch it later. I haven't watched too many of those episodes. I probably watched like 8. Okay, I watched some. But, yeah, I want to hear what he says. I want to hear what he thinks about, the game and, maybe what other kind of games he plays. And I've seen a couple of his clips. I watched him for a couple minutes once. Seems like an energetic fellow, so that's good. That's where you want to be when you stream. No one wants a little guy that just sits there and, groans and moans and doesn't really talk much, but that's not what we do here. We keep it moving. I don't want to hear no silence. The only time you're going to hear silence is when you hear me a glugging, a little bit of water down my throat, because I got to keep these pipes nice and lubricated so the sound is good. Hey, are you still in chat, buddy? What do you do for a living? Oh, so yeah, I graduated. We can get into that backstory a little bit, and you should definitely go back and listen to this from the beginning so you can hear my whole story. But I graduated recently with a mechanical engineering degree. Right now I have a job as a technical writer. What I do is I make manuals for I won't get too much into the specifics of my company, but we make a certain product that we do custom machines for, and every brand new machine that comes out has to have a manual written for it. And that's what I do. So I come up with the manuals, I send them out with the machines, and the company's good to go. But, it's going good. So, but yeah, mechanical degree. I was in school for like 6 years. I got a pretty good backstory there. I actually dropped out of school in 9th grade. I was actually too young to drop out. I found a loophole where I could get out early. I was only like 16 when I dropped out. I might have even been 15, I don't remember. But I went from being a bum for like 6 years probably till I was like 21. My fiance that I'm with now was a big, she helped me turn around and helped me get back in school, and I owe that to her. But yeah, I was a bum for a while. I was, I did some things in my youth, and I wasn't very productive. But I always worked. I worked from when I was 16 to 21, shitty jobs. I installed carpet with my dad. That was fun, though. I learned a lot from that. I worked at like a Tim Hortons. I worked at pizza places for years. I could talk about pizza places all day. Delivery driver, loved delivery driving. But yeah, then I found out, hey, I could be doing this forever, or I could try to make something a little bit better for myself. So I went back to college. Wasn't sure what I wanted to do at first. So I just did general studies, Then you start learning math, and you start learning science, and it's like, oh, this shit's pretty fucking interesting. I always knew that I wanted to do something with science, because I watched a lot of, sci-fi stuff and television shows that kind of inspired me. Actually, you know what? One show that probably inspired me to get into engineering might have been Fringe. Just that Walter guy on there. I think that was his name. The old man, the main character. He was just like a creative, just very inspiring. Like, oh my God, this one person can come up with so many great ideas, which I've only come up with a few small ideas so far that will probably never see the light of day, which is probably a good thing. But yeah, so sometimes, you can get inspiration out of the weirdest things. It could be someone watching my green screen car ride podcast, or it could be someone watching a television show, cartoon. You get inspired by a lot of stuff, and sometimes it just comes to you, like this podcast today. If I would have never thought of this 40-minute long podcast would never have happened. But the idea came to me, and I was like, you know what? Let's just do it. Let's stop fucking around. Let's just go. Let's see where it goes. And the great thing about it is, what you do have to remember to tell yourself is, guess what? If it doesn't go anywhere, who cares? Who the fuck cares? No one cares. No one will even know about it. That's the best part about it. A few people will see this. But yeah, I hope you're enjoying the discussion so far. If my person that was in chat is still there, if I didn't scare you away with my crazy talk about inspiration and all that stuff. If you did leave, though, I hope you went to go watch the H3H3 podcast. They've had a bunch of good people on that podcast. To get in that for a second, they had just people that people will know. I'll mention Dr. Disrespect was on there. That was a really good interview. He gets a little he gets out of his character a little bit towards the end. He's a little bit more human. That was before his whole thing that happened to him happened. So you got to see a little bit more of his side. But it's interesting to hear these people that a little bit more of their backstory, because they don't really get into that too much on their day-to-day life. Who else have they had? They've had some other good people. Can't really think of them off the top of my head, but yeah, go check that out. Get out of this stream. And then for the people that are watching this recorded, I'll promote them again, actually, because I like that podcast that much. It's called H3H3. You can search for it on YouTube. You can search for it. They live stream on Twitch, which is great. I think this is like a new thing for people to do. Whatever you do, just live stream it on Twitch. If I was in a band right now, I would be doing my band practice. In band practice, I would be setting up a Twitch stream. Now, I know there would be a lot of audio issues to solve for that, but I think it'd be really cool, and people could see the progression of it. Everything's recorded. When you finally get it right, you just go back and listen to it. Stuff like that. You could be anything. What else could we do? You could be at work. You could be, you make pizzas in the back, and you're really good at making pizzas, and you bang them out quick. Put that little camera up there. Maybe in 1 hour, you got a bunch of orders. You're gonna make 20 pizzas. Just bang them out real quick, and then whatever. Live stream that shit. This is what people want to see nowadays. They like real content. We're sick of this, Well, I'm not sick of it, but I think people are leaning that way more. Definitely more towards live content. All right, we made it this far. My goal was to keep chatting until we got home. And we're going to be home in about 5 minutes. So I talked nonstop for 40 minutes. There was a lot of stuff I actually didn't even get into that I wanted to get into. So I'm going to come a little bit more prepared next time if this happens again. If this is not the one and only green screen car ride podcast. If it's not a one-off, then I'm going to come back. I'm going to have some notes. Not going to look at the notes when I drive, mind you, because that's not safe. I'm going to have the notes, and then I'm going to have more stuff to talk about. And actually, another idea I had for this podcast is I want to do interviews with people as well. So, I want to interview real people. I'm talking about people in chat. I get some guy in chat that watches the show a couple times, maybe even once. Who cares? Hey, buddy, you want to talk for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30 minutes? What do you want to do? Let's hear. I want to know about random-ass people. Another side note of the thing I was thinking of the other day was just to kind of connect more with the people. I was thinking about doing my Instagram. Now, I'm probably way too scared to do this, but I'm just going to throw this idea out there because I think it's cool for someone that maybe has the balls to do it, because I know I probably don't, but we'll see. So you go up to random people on the street, not awkwardly, friendly. You got to have a friendly personality. Say, hey, I got this thing I'm doing. Instagram, right? I'm doing this thing. I'm going up to people, all this month, blah, blah, blah. You could be doing it forever, but you just tell them that. I'm going up to people all this month, and I'm trying to just take pictures with random people. Do you mind? You want to take a picture with me for my Instagram? And I'll even, we can be friends on Instagram. And I thought that was a cool idea. And then, actually, another thing I thought about, too, is because people have been doing this. I've seen podcasts interviewing random people. Hey, buddy, how you doing today? What do you do? You don't got to get into specifics, but, I think that'd be cool. And, it's about bringing people together more. Like, people think, technology, no one talks to each other anymore. Everyone's on their phones all the time. I'll be home in about 2 minutes, by the way, and I'm going to end this podcast as soon as I pull into my parking lot. Because I'm going to get a new pair of glasses tonight. Not sunglasses, actually prescription glasses. Going to get a new pair of those tonight. And then going to get wings and then going to the beach. But what you guys need to pay attention to, because I'm wrapping this up now, is that Thursday night, I don't like to give a time, it's probably going to be around 7. Thursday night and Friday night I will be streaming. We'll probably be playing a lot of Skyrim. If my brother is done playing God of War, the new one, I might start playing that. And I was also thinking about maybe playing God of War 3 first, but that probably won't happen. So we got a couple choices. I want to find out what people want to see, but I'm kind of leaning more towards Skyrim VR. But I'm also thinking maybe like Bloodborne, the PS4 game. But we'll see. We're going to play some stuff. We're going to do some stuff. We're going to have some fun. We're going to hopefully make some videos too. I'm going to try to get a couple videos out. I got a Mega Man 1 playthrough that I did the other day. Actually, the funny story is they flagged my audio as copyright infringement. So there's like a certain part, like 30 minutes into the playthrough, where all of a sudden the sound cuts out for 10 minutes. All right, I'm home. So I gotta email them and say, like, hey, this playthrough is gold. People need to see this. They need to know what's going on. Oh shit. All right, we're home. All right, guys. Good stream. Talk to you later. Bye. Oh yeah, by the way, SteveXM, Steve_XM on Twitch, Steve_XM on YouTube, and I hope everyone enjoyed this random one-off of the, this is a green screen behind me in a car, podcast. So yeah, it's cool. Let me know what you think in the comments, people. Toodles. Do you want to stop broadcasting? End broadcast.